Two people were murdered at the motel last night. But the scene suggests foul play.
You got a visitor, Lieutenant.
I'm your new deputy.
You know about this?
Looks like you guys could use the help.
Nice suit.
Thanks.
You look like Pat Boone.
What are you going to do? Search 27,000 square miles?
Hello? Did you catch who did it?
Not yet.
So no leads, no idea who may have done such a terrible thing.
You hear about this armored car robbery? Eyewitnesses place that hijacked chopper headed into Navajo country.
Thought we were talking about a double homicide.
We're talking about both.
Anna died of cardiac arrest.
She was 20 years old.
The coroner said that she was scared to death. I promise you, I'll find who did this to her.
There's a witness, but she's blind.
What'd she have to say?
There might have been two men.
Find that money. We cracked this case.
Seeketh, and ye shall findeth, saith the Lord.
I saw something last night. It was real.
Real is in the eye of the beholder.
Listener discretion is advised. It's a jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show.
And welcoming back for another exclusive chat. We're welcoming back Cord about the actual show that she's actually on. We are welcoming back Amelia Rico.
Hello, everyone.
Discuss her show Dark Winds. First time we've done it where we've had an actual cast member review the show with us.
Yeah, exciting.
All right, excellent. Amelia plays one of the main antagonists, Ada Growing Thunder. This is based on Tony Hillerman's various novels concerning Navajo policeman Lieutenant Joe Leaphorn, played by Longmire's Zach McFarlane, and FBI agent turned Navajo cop Jim Chi, played by Kiowa Gordon. And these roles were previously played respectively by Wes Studi and Adam Beach in director Chris Ayer's previous adaptation for producer Robert Redford and PBS called sorry, I just had the name in front of me. It's a very complex name. It is, what is it called? It's Walkers. It is, come on, guys. Skinwalker.
Skinwalkers, all right.
Yeah, to star in Skinwalkers. And Jim Chi was also previously portrayed in the previous movie version of The Dark Wind by Lou Diamond Phillips as well. And so, welcome to the show once again, Amelia.
Hello. Nice to be back.
Absolutely. So
on a completely different day.
So I swear. So it is set in the 1970s southwest of New Mexico. Chi and Leaphorn had to put their differences aside to go after the most unusual homicide that leaves a little girl in jeopardy, while also training one of their deputies, Bernadette, to watch her back, while also uncovering dangerous smugglers played by dangerous smugglers Hoshki, played by Jeremiah Bitsy, Better Call Saul, and Guy, played by Ryan DeGay, a military veteran who may or may not be in on the take. After Brink's armored truck is robbed, and unleashes a valley of suspects, including used car salesman Devoted Dan, played by The Office's Rainn Wilson. Will Lee Porm be able to maintain his dignity as a hardened dad? Will he train Chi accordingly? Is Chi loyal to the FBI or is he loyal to the Navajo? Are any of these FBI agents actually to be trusted? Is store salesman Lester under attack by some of these dangerous figures? Let's find out. So
Lester.
Lester, yep, played by Jonathan Adams, who you might remember as the original boss on Bones, and he's also like Homeland Security guy on 24, who's basically got to make everyone take a fall. Someone's got to step down. So I was really brought back by him. I was like, I know that man's face. And I had just gotten done rewatching Bones, and I was like, oh yeah, he lives.
Yeah.
So it was developed for TV by Graham Rowland, who created the newest iteration of Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan for Amazon Prime. He has also written for Fringe, Lost, Prison Break, and the American version of Returned. George R.R. Martin, like anything post Game of Thrones, put his name on it. Robert Redford owned the rights, so he also developed it for TV, owning the rights to Hillerman's work. The Ingenious cast of writers include Erica Tremblay, Razel Benali, and Maya Rose Ditloff, and Billy Luther, and Anthony Flores. Their work includes numerous web series, documentaries, shorts, and other Navajo-themed movies. So once again, welcome, Amelia.
Yes. And Erica also, I think, wrote for Reservation Dogs recently and directed something over there from the second season. So she's been doing a great job.
She's the executive story editor. Small world.
Yeah, I told you. It's a very small world. And Razel has done some amazing work also for the Sundance festival. They have an indigenous kind of section of the Sundance, and that's where a lot of people have met, including Taiki Waititi and Sterling Harjo, who are the creators of Reservation Dogs. So it's brought a lot of people together. A lot of very amazing talent together.
Started off doing cult stuff like Flight of the Conchords, then he does all these other New Zealand type character studies, and now here he is in America doing all these other just quirky comedies, but embracing all different kinds of cultural just kind of
he's definitely been an amazing kind of creator, just out there lifting other indigenous creators up, and he's been great. Definitely.
Absolutely. Chris Iyer, the director and producer of the previous Tony Hillerman PBS adaptations, Skinwalkers, directs with Sanford Bookstuyver, who you might know from his work on White Collar, House, the Marvel Netflix shows, the various Dick Wolf Chicago shows, and also the newest iteration of Dexter, fills in for 2 episodes as well. So it is a batch of talents. It's a bunch of people who've been here for a while, but underused. It's got something for everybody. What were the you did when you were last on here speak about how some of the scripting, it wasn't as clear, but like any actor, you just want to get the role and then do your part once you get it. When you finally got it, what were some of your thoughts, just even on that day?
I mean, you kind of just have to read through the script hundreds of times and like really just kind of study it to figure out more about as much about your character as you can, and just kind of create whatever you can't read off the page. But the writers did an amazing job of just, my character actually isn't even in the original series. Like if you I think this season was based off of The Listening Woman and one other Tony Hillerman that I can't remember the name of, but very strongly
Blended
from The
characters.
Listening Woman.
Yeah.
And my character is not in The Listening Woman, but the whole storyline of the young girl being killed, and the older woman, the grandmother, being the only one that's a witness, but she, wasn't able to see what happened because she's blind. That whole storyline is in The Listening Woman. And the fact that the daughter, the granddaughter, and the other man were killed during a sing, all that is part of that same that book. So I read that book, I read the whole book, and I was like, I'm not in here. I can't get any information on my character because I'm not in this. I'm not really in this series or this book.
At least your character added to it, because there's been plenty of other times that were people who told me that.
Yeah, I mean,
story.
then I start thinking of actors like, like in Walking Dead. What's that actor that he's not in the series either, but Daryl. But
really?
People love Daryl.
Right. Yeah.
He wasn't originally in the series, but they created a spot for him.
Nice.
So yeah, I joined the ranks of Daryl. So that's a not bad company to have around me.
Right.
So then I had to, create just from the script that I had in front of me. I wasn't going to be able to look back at the source and figure out anything about my character. But just from the flow. The what I read about Navajo culture and the idea of witchcraft and all that, I started getting a sense of my character. And I think it was B.R. Luther, or Billy Luther, who had written one part which didn't make it quite into the into the actual episode. There's a scene, and you'll kind of get a hint of it, but they cut before it actually happens. There's a scene where I grab hold of Hosky and I kiss him. I give him a big kiss.
Yeah, smooch.
But they cut right before I kiss him. They just show me grab him. So yeah, I didn't know. I think it maybe weakened the characters a bit for us to be romantically involved like that. But I thought it was funny that he wrote that in. But you never know what's gonna stick. You kind of start throwing character elements out, and you figure out what's gonna work and what's not gonna work, and some things don't work once you see them on screen. And I guess that's one of those things that didn't work, but but it was fun. It was
worth it. You got a free smooch.
I got a free smooch from the actor, from Bitsui, Jeremiah Bitsui.
So I'll tell you just kind of the first impression. I always kind of go on just like kind of the tone and everything. And I was like, okay, this looks just as intriguing as kind of, Breaking Bad. Paulie Elliott's cinematography is very eye-catching. He's worked on everything from, No Country for Old Men, just Paramount Plus show, Interrogation, to all other sorts of TV movies, B pictures, and other big stuff. And it does kind of do a similar kind of Breaking Bad thing, where it's just the visual just like is actually kind of just telling the story, just like enhancing it and building all this uneasiness and sometimes even claustrophobia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. The film work on this was definitely amazing. One of the things I think that it gets lost a little bit in the filming of it all is just the amazing work that is done by the scenic designers, not just the scenic designers, but the set dressers.
You do feel like you're in the 70s, and at the same time, it's kind of almost just making you feel like not much has changed to today's world almost, if that makes sense. Is like this is
Yes.
how we've evolved. This is a timeless kind of telling away.
Yeah, the scenic designers, the production designers, what they call them. I'm still in theater mode here. The production designers and
The designers.
set dressers, you know what I mean. The set dressers. Oh my gosh, it's just so amazing to be on these sets. A lot of the times because the amount of detail that they put on these. I mean, like you're literally in this. Like they built that house that I'm in, my house, is
I believe it.
They built it from scratch. Like it was nothing was there. And then they built this house and then they put all the stuff. The first time you see me, when I first opened the door, the house had just been built, but they had not yet put anything on the inside yet. They had just built the frame, the outside of it, and like done all the stuff because they had just had enough time to do all that. And then we had to film the scene where I opened the door, so they had to do some like little camera trickery there so that so it just goes into a black void and you can't see the inside too much, so that you can't see that it's completely undone on the inside. So then they weren't able to film any of the inside scenes until they finished building the inside and set dressing the inside. But once they got all of this work done on the inside and set dressed it and put everything out there and put that that thing that hangs from the ceiling, the skin or whatever that hangs from the ceiling, and all the jars and everything that they have in there. It's just amazing. I'm like, this is my house. This is literally a house. This is my character's house.
It's a giant house, yeah.
And it's a really nice. I mean, it's not a nice house, but I mean, it's a really nicely built house, and it's got all these like creepy stuff in it.
It really does.
But yeah, it's just the amount of detail is just amazing. It's amazing. Like
and we don't doubt it.
To them.
Like just when it's just so well staged, because whenever anyone enters, just like I absolutely believe is
because as the set dresser and as the production designer, you don't know what angle the director is going to want, so they literally just do 360. Even if a lot of the times you don't see this room or that room. I mean, they just every single little corner of it is completely like dressed in the style that it's supposed to be. Like when I did Yellowstone, it's the same. Like they did my daughter's room, they did the hallway, like that whole room, the whole what do you call it, the trailer that I lived in, it was all like everything like if a person lived there, so it was just amazing the amount of detail. Like they had an ashtray with cigarette butts in it and everything. Like you don't see that on camera, but I mean, you don't see that. Maybe you'll see it in the background, who knows? But I mean, a lot of the times you don't even see that detail, but it's amazing to be on set. And it really does a lot for the actor, because then you get to go in and, really feel like you're in this space and really get into character. So it's an amazing job. Hats off to the production designers on that. And, when you see it on screen, with the cinematographers and the direction and all that, everything put together, the lights, putting all that together, it's an amazing to be able to see it on screen once everything is
every
put
bit
together
shows. Get it all.
And you get the final image. Yeah. It's beautiful.
So, I mean, altogether, the show kind of was just slow word of mouth, and I just slowly started seeing a lot of people talking about it on social media. And it's like, okay, well, they got something here. I know Hillerman, Zahn was just very dynamite on Longmire. You just 1 minute he was douchey, the next minute you felt for him, and you got his prejudice against the white man. He'd been wrong so many times, and you understood why he was such a dickhead to other people on that show, but well intended. It was just so. You were so used to seeing him be so many shades of one character, one complex figure, that you were just like, I'm ready for him. Whatever he's going to be on here this time as a heroic yet, still troubled persona. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, Zahn's an amazing character, amazing actor. He plays so many different characters. I mean, even though a lot of
on
the times he's
Westworld.
playing a tribal cop, like he plays like 3 different tribal cops, and they're all so different that you can't be like, oh, he's playing the same character again. It's like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, they're all 3 tribal cops, but the tribal cop in Reservation Dogs is nothing like the tribal cop in, in Dark Wind. So he just gives every character their own light and their own, characterization, and he just, puts it out of the park. You really just feel for him in all 3 and all 3 iterations of his tribal cop. I think he also plays a tribal cop in what is that other show did you just mention? I don't Longmire,
yes.
Doesn't he?
Yes, Longmire, but yeah, he's also done a lot of the cowboy type roles, like on
he was on Westworld. Yeah, and that one he doesn't speak much in Westworld. Like the first few episodes that he's in, he doesn't speak, but like
I was on Queen
he
of the
just
South,
pops out.
but...
The first time you see him, you're like floored, even though he's not saying anything.
Right, he's worked with Jason Momoa on The Red Road,
that new movie
Frontier with the deputy who we see on this show, and Raven. And yeah, for the deputy, everyone's wondering about. It's once again, it's Jessica Madden.
Jessica Madden, yeah.
So, but I wasn't on the season he was on Queen of the South, but that was just a brief 4-part role. But it's just cool to just see how, like you said, all these people are making a progression. You made a progression. Everyone's making a progression, and everything is showing on screen here. And it, I don't see how else it could have been visualized. Really, I really don't. Because whether you've gone into Hillerman or not, the general gist of it, which is similar to the Longmire author of just showing just culture clashes, just the various distrust. And I like how it goes back and forth. We don't trust these feds, even when they seem genuine. Just there's so much back and forth, just stuff between that and the heist crew. And even when you have the final plot twist, it's not just about the final plot twist. It's about pretty much just this landscape of just, all these backwards societal disruptions that have been caused by, all these wandering bad men.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a great episode to be able to, or season to be able to kind of take that storyline of just greed and power and all that, that we've been dealing with, and
back and forth.
Yeah,
at first we're like,
trust.
Okay, where does the witch come into this? Where does Jeremiah's
and then I'm kind of there in as sort of a backstory or a side story, I think, and really kind of just playing foe with
Hoshi,
with Jessica, no, I mean like against Bernadette's character. So it's like me and Bernadette kind of pinned up together as the good versus evil kind of idea.
And it was very well delicate. It wasn't a sloppy red herring,
Yeah, and then I'm sort of integrated into still the main storyline, which is Hosky and Eugene Braverock, who plays oh god, Eugene's amazing. What is this character's name? I can't remember now.
For Eugene, that's
Hosky.
Frank
Nakai.
Frank Nakai, yes. Eugene Braverock is the actor, and man, scared.
Yeah, he's amazing. I love Gene. He's
they give him a cool backstory. They keep hinting he's a military veteran and basically has been brainwashed by Hosky to just be part of this armored robbery, and they're really good. Any other lesser movie or show would kind of elongate and probably have Hosky, monologuing before he kills someone, Joe Pesci style, and then they prevent that. It's like you pretty much know is like just the way he just states is like, get out, just like he gives you one warning, and then often he'll put it. It's interesting seeing how he evolves each episode. He'll do a few different like character things, like he'll put on his shades before he kills someone. He'll start disguising himself midway while he's holding someone at gunpoint, and And again, it still takes you a while to put it all together because you're like, wait, whoa, hey, so what does this have to do with the car heist? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it kind of unfolds very nicely. And then we have, Gene Braverock playing like the sort of heart of it all. Like he's sort of innocently doing that, like he's doing bad things, but he's doing it to him. He feels like he's doing it for. Yeah, to him he's doing it for his people, but then he starts realizing that Hosky's just in it for himself, really.
You think it's when Hosky kills the Navajo kid? Do you think that's when he breaks, or is it more just towards the end when
he starts realizing? No, definitely when he kills that Navajo kid, that definitely starts to put a chink in the armor that he's put up, and that he feels, he thought this was all going one direction and it was for his people, but then he starts seeing that Hosky is just killing Navajos, and he's not really he doesn't seem to be in it the way he's in it to help his people. So he starts realizing, oh, maybe I hitched my ride on the wrong wagon here,
right?
And he starts to kind of second guess his decision to back him, and then and then he pays the price, possibly at the end. We don't know yet, right? They never found his body.
That is true. We're unsure.
No, they never found my body either.
Yeah, true.
So we don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next season.
We'll see what happens next.
So he's done a lot of great stunt work. He had both a guest star role on Hell on Wheels while being a stunt double for one of the leads. Yeah, he was the chief in Wonder Woman. That's where I remember him. Did you ever see?
Oh my God! I told my husband that I was gonna be in a show with the chief from Wonder Woman. He was so excited. He's like, really? Oh my gosh! So, took lots of pictures.
Very nice.
He's a very nice guy. Very cool guy.
That is sweet. I always love it when my heroes aren't terrible people.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever see him in the HBO movie Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee?
No, I haven't.
That was an interesting drama.
Check that out. Yeah.
Yeah. Kudos to these villains, because like, even though you're the tertiary villainous, so to speak, it's just cool just seeing how it all interweaves, and I would definitely rewatch it. Give me 3 years from now. I'm gonna rewatch this.
Yeah, you have to what's great about these villains is that you really get to know their backstory, and they're kind of three-dimensional villains. They're not just like bad guys for the sake of being bad guys. Like even Hosky has his
one is singular,
his whole backstory, of how he came to his way of thinking.
They hint at a few things, and you got to be really dialed in. I love how Emma, Lieutenant Leaphorn's wife, when he comes home, that they really do a good way with the subtext and the dialogue, and just hinting is like, I gotta turn the cop side of me off when I come home, and she's like, I'm not here to just cook you dinner, and we got to get over this tragedy that happened years before the story started.
We'll return after these messages.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
We let things pile up in the DVR, we add them to our queues, we wait for the DVDs and Blu-rays. We time shift. The Time Shifters Podcast. Sci-fi, horror, fantasy, superheroes, comedy, action, film, television, maybe some not-so-current events. Find us on iTunes or at timeshifterspodcast.com.
Cool thing about Blind Knowledge is we are in multiple countries. We are worldwide all across the globe. We are in the US. We are in the UK. We are in Canada, Germany, India, Japan. We're in Australia, y'all. BlindKnowledge.com. Now back to the feature presentation.
Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Naruto, all things that we love, all manga that were originally published in the legendary magazine Weekly Shonen Jump.
But not every series can run for 300 chapters and have a hit anime. This is David.
This is Jordan.
We're the hosts of Shonen Flop. Each episode we look at manga that ran in Jump that didn't quite make it.
We discuss what it did wrong, what it did right, how the series could have turned itself around, and ultimately, was it a flop or not?
We're on all your favorite podcast apps, and you can find us at shonenflop.com.
Keep on flopping, floppers.
Where we lost one of our kids, you know,
Yeah,
and still not over it. And then there's like even another side to that one is like, I thought you meant this when, you know, this happened. No, I saw this when that happened. It's like, oh man, you know, grief is a terrible thing, and it goes in so many stages until it's just too late, and you gotta just cry. You gotta just let it out. And I love how, you know, we've had so many other big, you know, true crime, horror, anthology, and sci-fi fantasy shows this year, and this show is just as strong in that, showing, you know, just the smallest, quietest moments kind of just, you don't want to leave your screen. It just really impacts you enough. You're just like, wow, just, well, what a way to just kind of film that and just show the tense unrest emotion in the room.
Yeah, definitely. Deanna's a great actress. She was fun too to hang out with. I got to hang out with her. I didn't get to. I saw her maybe one time on set. I was there. I don't know why. I don't know if she was filming that day also, or I don't know. Somehow we crossed paths and we were able to take a photo on set. But I got to really hang out with her at the because I don't have a scene with her, but I got to hang out with her at the premiere in Austin. And yeah, we went to the party that they had for us after the festival, or after the screening, and then we had a little after party in Kiowa's room. So it was like me, Kiowa, and Diana, and like a very sleepy Desba. Like she was like falling asleep in the corner, poor Desba. And then I think eventually she snuck out. She was like, I can't do it. It's too late for me, you guys. Y'all are God.
She's apparently going to be in this upcoming Fox anthology show called it's a different version of Accused, based on that UK show that had Sean Bean. So a lot of A-listers attached to that, including Abigail Breslin, Jill Hennessy, Molly Parker, Jack Davenport, Wendell Pierce, Malcolm J. Warner, Michael Chiklis, Robert Wisdom, and Rachel Bilson. So, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and Margot Martindale, who you might remember from Justified and Walk Hard.
You're saying Desba is going to be in this?
Yeah.
Oh, exciting. I'm definitely gonna look that up, because that was great. She's actually I shouldn't say.
And it's an anthology show, so you just know, like, whoever you cast, you're gonna get some kind of just gotcha, like Twilight Zone. It doesn't matter that it was just one episode. That's something explosive and juicy for your reel.
Yeah, we'll see what she comes up with. She's great. She's a great actress. She's a lot of fun, a lot of great laughs with her as well. Yeah, I didn't have any scenes with her either, but actually she was one of the other character that I had auditioned for. I had previously auditioned for Bernadette, which I said in the previous podcast, I knew I was going to get, because I wasn't.
Who doesn't want to be a deputy?
Because I wasn't the ingenue type, but I auditioned anyway. And then the second one was Des's character, and that one I thought, I have a chance, because my brand, one of my brands is a desperate mother, or as I call her, the mother in turmoil. So, on Grey's Anatomy, I played a woman who was pregnant and went into labor in the middle of being there for her grandfather, who was played by Wes Studi, by the way.
Yes.
Wes Studi. And
who was the original
yeah, he was originally
and now he's guesting on Reservation Dogs, and I've never seen.
Yes, oh my god, he's so hilarious.
I'm watching it, I'm like, I've never seen this dude do any comedy.
Yes,
ever.
Because they don't show Native Joy anywhere, and I tell you, we're funny.
And
we're
here
funny
he's
people.
playing like a Navajo hippie guy, and you're just like,
yeah, he's
this
so
is something
funny.
else. This is great.
It's great. He's great in that. I'm so happy for him. And what was I saying? Oh yeah, I played the mother in Turmoil. And Yellowstone, I played the mother who lost her child, and bringing to light MMIW, which is a very real and very serious awareness for missing and murdered Indigenous women.
Yes.
I think now they call it MMIR, so missing and murdered Indigenous relatives.
Still a big social topic.
We're sure that it's not just women, but yeah, definitely that. So a lot of my roles are women in turmoil, mothers in turmoil very specifically. So I thought, you know what, I could get this. But then Ada came across my lap, and actually I had gotten reached out. Zahn reached out to me actually, and he was like, we didn't know each other before this, but he reached out and he was like, I'm casting Indigenous. He saw that I was an Indigenous actor, and he was like, I'm casting a production of, and I need a lot of Indigenous actors. You mind if I let them know about you? And I was like, oh, do I mind if if you cast me in something, or at least entertain the idea of casting me in something? And no, I do not mind. So from then, I'm not sure if he had anything to do with it, but I had already gotten the auditions for all the three things that I had auditioned for, which were Bernadette, and I forgot what the mother's name was, that Desma plays, and Ada,
and her name was, once again, it was Emma. Yeah.
Emma. Yeah. Right. And from those three, I was really hoping I would book Ada, because I was like, oh my god, Ada is such a great character, like not anything I've ever played before. I've always wanted to play someone like a witch, or someone sort of, with
and it's not crazy voodoo or something where you're just like, this is a bad campy horror movie.
Yeah,
like it's
really
well thought out.
well thought out, evil character,
it's cryptic, but in a good way, as opposed to,
yeah, and she's still kind of a mother in turmoil. She's still in my wheelhouse. She's just creating her own turmoil,
she's going in the opposite direction of this dark wind, so to speak.
Yeah, she is the dark wind, really. So that was the really exciting part, is that the supernatural element of it was me. So when you think of dark wind is supposed to be, it's like in Navajo folklore is the darkness, or the sort of supernatural wind that can come in and like create havoc in your life, or give you bad luck or bad juju, that kind of thing. So really my character Ada is the dark wind for this season. So it's really exciting that I got to play her. I was so excited. I was like, yay, that's the one I really wanted. And Desmond did an amazing job as the mother, Emma. No, she's not Emma. Emma is
you're talking about
I'm talking about the mother of the girl who died.
Of the yeah, okay. So that is that's Desba.
Yeah, Desba, her
character is Helen.
Helen Ad City.
Ad City, yes.
Right. Yeah,
and
Helen
she was
Ad
in
City.
Hostiles and a bunch of other movies. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so Desba, who plays Helen, she did an amazing job. It definitely brought me to tears. So really excited that she got to play that one, and I got to be Ada. So exciting.
Totally.
It was such a fun role. As a 90s girl, I don't know, I'm aging myself now, but I was really obsessed with the craft. So I was really excited to be able to play a witch in this.
That's definitely nice. I also like how they introduce like a missing family, and you don't know if half the time if Eugene's character Frank is gonna kill them or not, or if they're just being, if they're gonna go ahead with this ransom, is like get this rich family who they, and again, they do it in a way where it's like you're seeing something familiar, but it doesn't feel like, it's just so atypical the way it is shot, edited, unleashed. Just like, this is going in a different direction. It invites you to go in the uncanny direction it already is going in. And I applaud them for that, because there's just so many other movies or shows I just lose track. I was like, and someone gets shot on 5. It's like, it's not predictable to where you're just counting down the cliches,
Yeah. You don't know where the show is going to go.
It's,
it's
ambiguous enough to where it's just like, okay, the ambiguity.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you get, new writers. You give new writers a chance, and new groups of writers, new types of writers.
Yeah.
You get a whole new, group of stories. So like we have, we've all been starting to get kind of tired of the same old story,
Yeah.
over and over and over. And now it's time to
place.
inject the writing room with some new ideas and new mindsets. Definitely helps.
1000%. Altogether, I mean, it is an easy binge. There's no way anyone can't not get anything out of it. It's 6 episodes, guys.
Yeah, 6 episodes,
dynamite
and they're all very well produced, and Chris, I think, directs the first 2 and the last 2, and the middle 2 are directed by Sandy Bookstaver. Sanford Bookstaver, and he's actually the director of I believe it just won some awards, or at least got nominated, of what is that show? I remember the name of it now. With the serial killer.
Dude. The Dahmer.
No, the one who's like a good serial killer, like he only kills bad
Dexter.
guys. Dexter, yeah.
Okay.
The new Dexter series that just came out.
Right. I've seen the other director. He was pretty much, he had worked on all the Dick Wolf Chicago shows, and then all of the newest Dexter. So he's
he
White Collar.
Was really fun to work with. He let me play a little bit more. Chris was like very like, play it down, bring everything down to minimalize everything. And Sandy was very like, let me see that, do a little bit more, do a little bit bigger, do a little bit more with it. So unfortunately, in his 2 episodes, I didn't really have much to do. I was just, I think, just doing my little witchcraft and
at least
popping out at Jessica. But
at least none of the episodes felt static. Like if we weren't looking at the credits, we would never be able to tell the difference, which is kind of what a lot of these producers look for. Kudos to Devoted Dan. Rainn Wilson's just been able to kind of just be in a lot of dramatic movies, but play off color characters. And here he's playing a guy where he's like, 1 minute he's got the salesman pitch, and then he's got the oh shit look on his face when he realizes he's in a scheme. And it's so much fun just seeing just the various disguises these villains put on, because half the time you're seeing it and you're like, oh no. You're seeing a tragedy happen in slow motion. You're like, no, this is not good.
This is not good. Coming in.
As opposed to other stuff.
I heard he was really fun. I didn't get to meet him, unfortunately, but he was very free with his tidy whities, I heard. He was not shy about that at all.
Oh God, Rainn. Oh, Rainn.
Or so I heard.
What would we do without you? Thoughts on the new Jim Chi, played by Kiowa Gordon?
Kiowa is such a great guy. As I said, we partied after the we went and did was it karaoke with a whole group of us, and then we went and hung out after the screening. He's so much fun. Yeah, he's a great kid.
That is Reservation Dogs episode. I'm like, I totally don't recognize him.
Oh my God, yeah. When I saw him on Reservation Dogs, I was like, oh my God, there's Kiowa. Yeah, so he was great to work with.
He's
Also,
come
I
a long way,
didn't.
guys. Don't be distracted by the Twilight credits. He's been in
Yeah,
everything
no.
from the Red
It's
Road.
a very small role in Twilight. There's no reason to even bring that up.
I know, fair enough.
Let's forget all about that one. No, I only got to really see him the first day I came in was because it's the scene where I open the door, and Bernadette is at my porch in the first episode, and he's like coming around and looking. I think Jean
Gun
is
in hand.
hiding in my back, and he's looking, getting closer and closer, and he's gonna open the door. That whole scene. So he was there for that when I was
They
there,
framed him
and
and
so that was the
Jessica
only
perfectly, because like you just don't know, what's beholding is like they're both vulnerable, which is what we need. The last thing we need is just I'm here to save the day and some John Wayne shit.
Yeah, definitely. We don't need that.
Like,
we've had plenty of that. For
there's
sure.
too much of that bullshit. There's no more. And
Yeah.
but Bernadette, just knows how to play she mainly, I noticed, uses her eyes, while Kiowa's Jim, he kind of just like glances around and just kind of, without necessarily even like angling his head, just kind of just like, he knows just kind of how to kind of look into the camera. It's weird. It's a visual thing, but I do applaud, all that kind of backstory, because there's a reason for it, and sometimes it works, sometimes you can't see it, but there's a reason they're doing that with their character backstory.
Yeah.
And you did a lot of good with, obviously you had a lot of the shadows to play around with, but you were especially like, just when you're just like peeking through the door when they're asking you some questions, it's great there, because it's like, does she just not trust sleep porn? And that was fun to see you play off of Zahn. He's like, I'm not buying anything anyone's selling.
Yeah, when I auditioned with that scene where I opened the door, and you can see my audition on my Instagram if you go amelia.rico.films. On Instagram you'll
it's
see
all good. I couldn't do your job.
you'll see, and I don't say this is my audition for Darkwind, so you'll just have to kind of like look through my stuff and be like, I bet you it's that one, and I'm sure you'll notice it. But I did a much darker, like a much more like dramatic, dark, witch feeling to her when I first auditioned for her. So so Chris was like really trying to bring me down to like, okay, you're just like a regular person, we're not supposed to know you're a witch. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know. I thought we were supposed to know it was a witch, but he didn't want to give it away too much at the very beginning. So then we had to really bring down my performance. But if you look on my Instagram, you'll see how I originally envisioned that scene going. You'll see just a little glimpse of it in one of my other
that's awesome.
one of my videos. So that's kind of a little behind the scenes
little
fun.
bit of tease.
But yeah, that was really fun. And Kiowa does a great job with kind of giving that minimal kind of, he does that scene where he's talking with the what is he, the guy who's like testing
oh yes, and that
the scientist dude
that goes in an uncanny direction as well, where he's like, whoa, what's he doing with that lab equipment? What's it really for?
Yeah, he does that great
I think
scene
it's
where
Pete. Is it Pete Samuels?
Is it Pete? No, not Pete Samuels. The one where he's with the scientist guy in the like lab.
I'm trying to think who
and
played
he's pretending to be well, not that he's pretending. He's the FBI at this point. He's coming in as an FBI agent. He's trying to get information on like I don't know, some kind of samples. No, it's not Widover. It's like one of the scientists guys. He was like a one-day character, and he's like not like a scientist person, that like a CSI kind of person that does.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's in the morgue. I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah, in the morgue, and he's. I think that's when they first discover like, oh, she died of being scared. It's like they're trying to figure out how the young girl died, and it's like she died of fear. Like there was nothing wrong with her physically, she just died. It's like she died of being scared.
Yeah,
And
he's like, you, what do you mean she
who
died?
would be able to do that?
You pulled my leg? What's going on
it's
here?
like who could possibly do that? And then you kind of cut to me. They don't cut to me, but I mean it's just theoretically cut to me, and you see that the witch could do that, definitely. Kill you out of fear.
Right.
That was a really great scene, I think, with him.
It almost did,
because he just sort of gives this kind of look like, who would do that?
Why would you do that? It almost the way that's shot almost does kind of remind me of like the TV show Homicide: Life on the Street, that Baltimore show with Andre Bragner.
Mhm.
It wasn't a CSI moment where we were like, we got a crowd to solve. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't like a
that.
one-liner or nothing. It was just
making inappropriate jokes and loud. No, none of that.
No, it wasn't one of those, like CSI, like
campy,
pick up the lights, like
dumb. No,
who would
it
do
wasn't.
that? No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Right.
It really wasn't overdone. It was just very like, he's kind of looking at the science of it all and trying to figure it out. And
Every
it's very
shot's so
well
gentle.
played.
Yeah. Even when a shot isn't
By
gentle,
both
it's
actors,
gentle.
yeah. Even the other actor who played the scientist.
I'm sorry. I wish we remembered his name, guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. Yeah, he was.
There was also, I'm trying to remember who BJ Vines was. That was John Dial from Miami Vice. He was in there for 2 episodes. Kind of another questionable figure.
BJ Vines.
Yeah, that was another character. I'm trying to remember. It was like the 4th and 5th episode. I think he was one of the guys working with the car dealership, I think. If I'm remembering right. But I mean,
I'm trying to remember.
That's just it. Everyone's got just so many shades to them. It's really, I just words cannot express how this is well done. And it's, kudos to you guys for just, taking it off the paper, because I see so many other people who just act like, oh, the script's a template. I'm like, yeah, but you really got to know the material really well. Know where you're going.
Yeah. You don't have to have read the book or anything, but
even the motel wasn't shot a typical way that you typically see a sleazy, piss poor motel in a dark side of town often shown. When it's shown, we don't have any other frame of reference. We're not thinking, oh, it's a 7 type mystery. Oh, it's a Criminal Minds episode.
From the beginning, that first scene, you really
and not a knock on those. I'm just explaining to people, this is like, it's not, there's no other frame of reference. You're just like going in, you're like, instantly what's happening. You're like, where is this going?
Yeah, it really hooks you in that first scene because it starts off with the murder and Zahn coming in, and he puts those black ash marks on his face, and they don't explain it. They don't explain it at all. They don't go, oh,
and the blind woman,
I have to put these black ash marks because I don't want to be touched by evil, or whatever. You just kind of take it as it is, and that's the great thing about having an indigenous writer's room for
you
this
can know
production,
about
because
how this works, and you instantly understand it.
It's just something that's just put out there for you and not explained to you at all, so you can just you just take it as it is. So you're not having to be held by your hand and like explained every little thing that they do, like the ceremony they do for the little girl. They don't explain everything that happens and why they do everything, or why they do this or that, or why they're crushing the corn, and they just do it, and it's just something that you get to see and kind of be a part of and watch, and you just get to enjoy it. You're not having to, it doesn't really have to be explained to you. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, just watch it. It's still great TV. It's not something that's going to throw you off or like take you out of the story. It just kind of adds to the flavor of it all.
It really is. It's all interconnected, and like you said, it doesn't throw you off such a balance to where you're like, I'm lost, and at the same time, it doesn't, regardless of your familiarity with the culture and everything, you're drawn into it, and you're just like, okay, that checks out.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, sure. And if you're curious, then you can Google it. Google's free.
Right. You lose
Why
nothing.
does Zahn put black ash on his face?
It is amazing how people would just deny themselves information. It's like, you just grow your brain a little bit.
Yeah, just enjoy the show while it's on. And if you have any questions, you can always look it up online.
Asking for a friend. Yeah, sure. Just ask because you want to know.
Yeah.
Well, this has been dynamite having you on here because, again, it's just always just neat just getting all these perspectives, and let alone, one way or another, when I'm watching this, I was like, yeah, I'm going to review this.
Yeah.
Everyone else can keep talking about, what controversial superhero movie came out, and that's good on you. I want to actually talk about this compelling original mystery.
Yeah, it's amazing the the amount of fans it has received and reviews, and people have really enjoyed it. It kind of was a sleeper hit for AMC during the summer. You didn't really think, I don't think they really thought much would come of it, because it was really kind of low budget when it comes to these kind of productions. Like,
they came from an indie background, so
yeah, they didn't give them much money. They didn't give them much time. Like my house that they built, they say usually for big epic kind of like dramas like this, they should have a certain amount of time. Like they should have like, a good 6 months of pre-production and all that to get all this stuff done. But they didn't have any of that time. Like they got that house built in like, I don't even know, like a couple of weeks or something. Like a lot of the stuff was really done very quickly, and they didn't have a lot of time. They didn't have a whole lot of money. And I think they still did an amazing job with it, despite, and
1000%.
and we're able to get quite a few fans out of it, and I think AMC was very happy with the end product, as well as with the the way that the fans reacted to it and everything. So luckily we we're able to get a season 2. I mean, I say we just in the general we. Who knows if I'm going to be in it? I honestly do not know, so I can't reveal even if I wanted to. But we'll see what comes of season 2 of Dark Winds.
Absolutely. I can't wait. By the time this episode comes out, season 2 will be just around the corner. So, but it's a good way to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Month.
Yes.
And in culture in general, it's just it. But aside from that gimmick, it is also just, and I don't want to call it a gimmick, but aside from that extra plus, it's just cool to see just all this capable quality just be unleashed on screen, and again just give an invite for new kind of storytelling, as opposed to just let's this wasn't, hey, let's do Dances with Wolves in the desert, it wasn't anything like that.
Yeah, definitely. And no, it was not put together like a lot of the times, you get tokenism, or you get, kind of these gimmick shows that's like, oh, we're just gonna kind of throw one out at you. It was not treated like that at all. It was definitely treated with care and elevated from its original source, I think, and definitely, authenticated and all that. So I'm so happy to been a part of even season 1, and to have been the dark wind of the
you're
first
at
season.
Basically the biggest stage of your
Yeah.
career right now. So let's hope when you get to your 5th stage, you can have another cool role like this.
Yeah, definitely.
Any other similar shows like this that you think people should check out? Like, there's plenty of shows Jason Momoa's been in, like The Red Road. Blackstone was another one that was on like Canadian TV. Jessica was on another show called Tribal, which was like Canadian corruption. So I think that's how she got
there's
this
a
one.
lot of things coming up.
Obviously, anyone who's seen Longmire, that's
and anything
masterpiece.
in, yeah.
Justified's kind of similar, although there unfortunately are no Native American bandits. Actually, there's one, but he's a rapist, so that's not a good display.
Yeah, Yellowstone, yeah.
Yellowstone, yes.
1923 is coming up, and there'll be
Can't wait.
a fair amount of indigenous actors and storylines with that one. So I don't know when this is airing, if this will be after December.
Yeah, it'll be after, but that's close enough. It's either way, you know.
So check out 1923. Then.
People still going to be catching it up by next year.
There'll be I'm sure everyone will have seen by now. Then all of that, and what else? What else is out there? Oh, there's just been so much stuff. I'm so excited for the future, honestly. Because I have already read of all these projects that Sterling is putting his hat into, and Erica Tremblay is doing, and
writers the show for
all
those
these,
who weren't
all
paying
these
attention.
other writers and showrunners of these amazing shows that they're
going to get them their
part
next
of,
5 gigs.
Yeah, there's some amazing stuff coming up, I think. Just from, if you read any of the, like IndieWire or any of the, the trades.
Maybe they can get involved with something like Wind River 2 or something like that, which I just saw was announced. And I was like, whoa,
yeah, they just announced it. Yeah. Taylor Sheridan has been like on a tear. Doing all kinds of
he pretty much wants to bring westerns back, but he doesn't want to he wants something for everybody. He doesn't want just, hey, here's your dad's, Charlton Heston, Charlie Bronson ones.
Yeah, and he's really putting some truth into it,
I think that's what he did.
As far
as an actor before he became a director, writer, producer.
Yeah, just like me, it's the issue.
You know how he's affording all this?
The parts aren't.
He's a realtor. He buys all these private properties, sells it, and whatever.
There you go. Whatever. Whatever you have to do to get.
Everyone else does the whole. Well, whatever the studio gives me. He's like, no, he doesn't want to wait for permission. I think that's his goal. He wants to make a compelling.
Yeah, he bought narrative. He actually bought the 3.6, or was it the 4.6s? Is that what it's called?
Something like that. Yeah.
The actual ranch,
a
so that he could film there, and so now it's like his big studio. So yeah, he's all over. He's got his hands in a whole lot of pots right now, and I'm really excited to see all the things he comes up with, because he is really like out there to tell the stories, like the real stories of Western.
And he doesn't want to just tell a typical kind of crime story. He doesn't want to even just go into soapy. He wants to just kind of just show, like you say, a hidden truth of someone who might otherwise be a colorful or otherwise pretty despicable person. He wants tough to talk about material. So
yeah, definitely. He's the one that's putting, he's doing a lot of the deep down work. I think, to tell the indigenous stories that are real, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming up. So I'm excited for more and more opportunity for me to tell the stories, but also for you guys to be able to see new stories that have not been seen, and new perspectives that haven't been seen.
And no one can see it right now, but it looks like Amelia is trying out for like a new Flow progressive ad. With your new headset you got.
A little headset.
You might do a commercial parody of this.
I'm Indigenous Flow, yeah.
This is your caller speaking, yeah. Well, glad you could join the parade, and glad we had fun just summing up the sleeper.
Sleeper hit of the summer. Last summer.
Screw it. I'll take it back. I'll go and rewatch it now.
Yeah, we're gonna rewatch it right now.
There's nothing else good on until the other good stuff actually comes out.
Nope.
Alrighty. Well, dynamite, and you have a blessed day.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up review show.